Welcome to Research Business Daily Report, made possible by our exclusive community at Patreon. I'm Bob Lederer. I'm pre-taping today's episode because I'm in New York attending the ARF annual conference, and yesterday I attended an online data quality meeting which we plan to discuss with all of you later this week. But today we have a true insider look at some of the elements that seem to be holding back the improvement of online sample quality. John Burshek, CEO of Burshek Research and Strategy, has been selling hard the concept of improving sample and its benefits, and he told us last week about some very harsh pushback that we think you should be aware of. John?
So, Bob, this is kind of, to me, a full cycle to when you and I first met in 2012. We were brought together by a gentleman, another associate researcher, both of ours, Dennis Murphy. And Dennis had gotten together with Mark Smolensky and Brian Mock, and they had formed a company to address the issue that you recently put out there on your video, and I pinged you about to remind you of our conversation several years ago. And that's the issue on sample quality and what that means to organizations, and how corporate researchers need to take a really hard look at this thing, because we're getting to the point where it's a real problem. I mean, it was a real problem when we first talked 2012. You were one of the experts I interviewed in your field. We went out and interviewed not only experts like yourself in the field, but also practitioners at the corporate level. And I'd say we did 25 executive in-depth interviews. And we found out, number one, everybody knows this is a problem. The panel companies know this is a problem. They know that everybody is trying to do workarounds to fix the problem. And nobody is, I think as Dennis put it, nobody has had that complete crash of a research finding report where the executives basically throw everything out and this whole problem is brought to light. That has not occurred yet. And it probably won't, because we tend to bury those kind of things. There's two things that are holding corporate researchers back from making the jump to good sample a reality. And the first is, as we experienced, and I still experience to this day, they have a huge fear in just an innate fear of admitting to an executive that there might be an issue with the way they've always done things before. So they have to work through that fear. However they manage to do that, that's totally up to them. Anytime you address quality and sample, I mean, the reason this, I don't know any other word to call it, but crap sample is so popular is it's so cheap. You can get sample for a lot of things on a consumer side between $3 and $5 a complete. Everybody knows this. I mean, even if it's being resold through a vendor to a corporate researcher, they're paying maybe $10 to $15 for that complete. That's nothing compared to what we used to spend, and it's nothing compared to what we actually should spend as well. I think we approached upwards of 40 companies and corporate researchers, and they were fairly large companies, but mid-tier as well. With the solution that we were bringing to market. That was the biggest catch, is our sampling costs were indeed higher by a factor of, in some cases, 3 to 5x over what they were currently paying. And it was an unwillingness or inability, I'm not sure which, to be able to go and say, and we even, because we were doing better quality sample, here's the other ironic thing, we could do it for less sample size, which could bring our costs to the corporate researcher into line, so they're only asking for, say, a 30% bump in what they would normally have been paying for the sample cost. They could not go to the table and get the extra money for the additional sample that was actually high quality, bulletproof, take it to the bank type of sample. They didn't have to have a need to put any kind of tests on their side of it. We were doing that on our side to provide the sample. The corporate researchers have to be able to step up and say, no, we can get it. We can get the money we need for the quality sample. Because once that bridge is passed, there's a lot of ways to address this.
Research Business Daily Report is made possible by members of our exclusive community on the crowdfunding platform Patreon.com. Our special thanks to all of our current patrons who recognize the value that RBDR brings to them and to conversations in our industry in general. And they decided to make it possible for RBDR to continue to help them and the industry. If you're interested in joining our community and gaining access to exclusive RBDR perks and services from RFL Communications, please visit patreon.com/RBDR. You don't have to be a large research operation to be part of this great community. Become a patron yourself today. Have a great research day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.